Okay, this is Andy Lane at Hand Hewn Farm. I am just going to show how we clean our casings. At the sink, we butchered a pig yesterday and we saved all of the intestines. We cut the small intestines into 5-foot lengths. It's a manageable length for stuffing and for cleaning. It's just a nice length, easy to measure. If you hold it up, it's not touching the ground, that sort of thing. So this is one that's been flushed one time, just with a sprayer hose after it came out of the pig. We didn't let it hit the ground. We try to keep it off the ground so it doesn't collect anything. The outer membrane can pick up a lot of debris, so we try to keep it off of things. So we sprayed it out, got most of the stuff out of it, and now we're ready to turn it inside out so we can clean this inner membrane off, this mucousy sort of stuff. So I take one end, I put 2 fingers on both sides if you can. Not all the small intestines are actually big enough to do this. And then I'll flip it around so that I can get water to start feeding into there. And as the water feeds in, I'm just using my other hand to kind of hold it up and let it drop in. And once it gets started, you can use one hand to fill and the other hand to drop. So this is just how we turn them inside out. Just using a little bit of water to force the rest of the intestine in. And you can use more water, obviously it'll speed up the process. It just flows right through there. Once you have it real good, it'll fall right through, chase out the end, and then your intestines inside out. Having a tray like this is kind of handy. You can keep the water running, keep the things clean. And then once it's inside out, I used to use this tray. It's just an enamel tray with an old cutting board in it. Kind of contains everything, so I don't lose my intestine anywhere down a hole or anything. They're really, really slippery, so it's nice to have a way to contain them. And then I find the end again. I leave a little bit of water running just to keep things flushing. And then I start at one end, and I usually wrap it around a couple fingers, just so I can keep a hold of it because it is so slick. And then I just use a pastry knife, or a bench knife, some people call it, and I flatten it out, and I start scraping with a little bit of pressure. And the little water that I have running is kind of nice to keep things flowing. And I usually do an initial scrape. Get these flat here. And then after my initial scrape, I usually do a secondary scrape. I'll fill it with water after this scraping. And then if there's any discoloration or spots that I missed, they're really easy to spot when you fill it with water. And then you can turn it, if you watch my thumb, I'll kind of turn it as I'm scraping sometimes. You can also sort of turn it with your scraper. But usually you can get most of it off the first running. If there's any of the outer membrane, the more fatty tissue that you don't clean off when you take it out of the pig, or when you're cleaning it out initially with this first rinse, that will sometimes, that can also get scraped out. This intestine here was pretty clean of the fatty membrane on the outside, so there won't be much that comes from the inside, but every once in a while when you're scraping, you'll get something come out from what was the outside, which is now the inside. You'll get like a little ball of stuff that'll come out with it, and that's just the lining that you didn't get off initially the first time. So it's just a matter of doing this. Like I said, I do it twice. I'll try to go a little bit further here and fill this spot with water so you can see it. You can already see a pretty big difference between the ones that have been at least cleaned once and the ones that haven't been cleaned. And most of that yellow is gone. So then if you want to test to see how well you've done, you can put a little bit of water back in it. And this one obviously wasn't cleaned all the way, but for the the sake of time, I'll fill it up a little bit. You can kind of see, this is the section I had filled. Got a little twisted there. So it's pretty clean, but something on my finger. There's a spot there. But for the most part, fairly clean and pretty quick. It doesn't take too long. And then after these are cleaned and we've double checked them, then we'll just pack them in a really salty brine or just straight salt. We usually keep them in a little bit of liquid just to make them a little bit easier to use and take out. That's it. If you have questions, let me know. But that's how we do it here. Thanks.